Hey y'all, Irix Guy here. Now you've probably already seen the unboxing that I made of the Polar Pro power pole. But what I'm going to do in this video is actually demonstrate the real-world use of the Polar Pro Power Pro. Now I've got the Hero 4 Black Edition. It's the most current model GoPro at the time of posting this, but this this power pole will work with older model GoPros as well. What we're going to do first, and you could mount it if you didn't want to use the battery charging capabilities. You could mount it in the waterproof case. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the Hero 4 out of the Hero 4 waterproof case, and I'm going to put it in a GoPro frame type housing. It's just an aftermarket housing. You can check the link within this video's description I posted to where you can find it. But see this door on the side where your GoPro charging cable connects? We're going to take that off, and then we're going to stick this in this frame type housing here. So see, now what you see on the side, you see your USB port exposed. So you mount your GoPro on top of the power pole. And you can adjust the orientation however you want to. But then take your short little USB cable that came with the power pole, stick it into the side of the Hero camera. In my case, Hero 4, but as I previously mentioned, it'll work with older model GoPros. And then you can stick it in one of the two USB ports. So I'm going to use the bottom one. Actually, I'm going to use the top, and then I can use the bottom one for my iPhone. But see, now it's going to turn the GoPro on, and it's fully charged, so you're not going to see it charging right now because I actually charged the GoPro up all the way. But you can see here, if you push on the bottom, you'll see some LEDs illuminate, and that indicates the charge status of the big battery that's inside of this power pole by Polar Pro. So just a revolutionary improvement for a monopod, because you can take this out and literally film for, let's see, what did it say, 8+ hours. So I mean, that's a ton of just an absolute amazing amount of battery life. And it's all in the monopod, so you're not sitting there juggling with swapping out your batteries, etc. It's all in the monopod. And what's great about this, even with it connected to the charger, since that's on the top piece, that's not going to impact your ability to extend the monopod. So I mean, it's sincerely a brilliant design. Look at that. And I know it's tough to want everything, but ultimately we do, being GoPro camera users. I wish they had and this is water resistant, highly water resistant, but it's definitely not something you would want to take underwater. But it would be really cool if they released an underwater version in the future. But I can see from a design perspective how that would probably be extremely challenging to do. But something else I want to demonstrate is renewable energy. So you're out in the field, and maybe you've been out and you need to recharge your battery, even though this should get about 8 hours or so. What I can do is pop out a solar panel, and then on the back of my solar panel I've got a USB plug, so I can just plug this in to the USB port. Now obviously turn this over and face the sun, and then I can stick this in the recharging port of the power pole. So now what I'm able to do is renew the battery life within the power pole by way of the sun. So how cool is that? Definitely a contraption that you would like to add to your arsenal of GoPro accessories. I see myself using this snowboarding, snow skiing, hiking, maybe even on a bike, using it with one of my hands. It's just a very good design, and it's something that when you're out in the field filming with it, I know if you're like me and you get people walking up and they're like, man, what is that? Because they're curious about all the GoPro gear. This is definitely one of those items that will attract attention because it's just so nicely designed. And the weight of this monopod is I think, what was it, 13 ounces? So it's heavy. It's heavy enough to know that it's excellent build quality, but it's obviously not too heavy to carry around easily. And I love how how all these pieces cover up the ports when they're not in use. If a company had wanted to take shortcuts, they would have just left the USB ports exposed, or they would have put those flimsy and cheap plastic covers on the USB ports. And this is even from an ergonomics perspective, it's designed in a way to where that side is flat. So when you sit it down, it's going to better prevent it from rolling around on a table. Whereas if they had made this completely round, you know, you could sit it down and it would roll all over. But see, it's got the Power Pro logo rather. And over here it says Power Pole. So just a really revolutionary monopod. It's weird to be this excited about a monopod, but I mean, just looking at the doors that this has opened. I mean, now you can film for a longer time and not have to worry about swapping out the batteries. But then again, if you didn't want to necessarily have it connected to the internal battery when you're using it, what you could do is put your you could still use your GoPro in a waterproof case. I mean, again, this is not a waterproof monopod, so don't submerge it. But if a little bit of rain or a little bit of snow hits it, it's probably going to be fine. But if you wanted to better protect your GoPro, which is inevitably more expensive than the monopod, you could still use it with your GoPro in the GoPro waterproof housing the same way. You just wouldn't have the the USB rechargeable cable running concurrently. So if you started to get low, you could just, you know, take your GoPro out of the waterproof housing and charge it off the battery. And as I had mentioned previously, if you've got an iPhone or something like that, just plug in your iPhone charging cable, you know, your Thunderbolt cable, just plug it in and, or wait, not Thunderbolt, Lightning. Got my terminology mixed up. But you could be charging your phone at the same time you're charging your GoPro. So just, wow, that's all I can say. And check it out for yourself. You can find a link within this video's description where you can order it online, as well as find more videos and photos. Thanks for watching, and be sure to subscribe. YouTube.com/IrixGuy. Y'all have a good day.